I want to be 50, still doing 360s, smiling, friends all around me.
Alone.
Like,
You don't have somebody that's gonna save you. You have to save yourself, and that's
I'm human, you know?
you are one of my inspirations for this too.
It's funny because, like, surfing is like modeling. Like, you're right there, and I was like, yes, I love when I see my friends still killing it no matter.
Represent. So, of course, we got welcome to the show, welcome to the podcast. We've got Mr. Jeff Cheney. Man,
It's been
you
a long
know,
time coming.
this is the first podcast I've done where my guest is shirtless.
I just woke
It's
up.
totally fitting.
Yeah.
It's totally fitting though, because we have with us today a spectacular surfer, just board sport athlete all
Thank you,
around,
sir.
right?
Thank you, sir.
Like surfing, snowboarding. We met through the modeling world, and we did a shoot at one point, and I instantly was like, "This is the dude!" Like, just your vibe, everything about you. We hit it off right away, and then I got to follow you
Thank you.
for past few years, where you're out in Japan, living in Japan, snowboarding in some of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
deepest snow that I've seen somebody riding
yeah.
in,
The
and just
season was
living
pretty good
an
too.
epic, yeah, and just living an epic life. So, I'm hyped to talk with you. We've been chatting a bit about like, dude, we got to get on here. We gotta rap a little bit. So
All right, man.
today's the
Thanks for
day. We're
having
making
me.
it happen. Yeah, dude, it's an honor. It's an honor.
And I got
So
right here my Pike's Place mug, one of a kind. You have to go to the OG Starbucks in Washington to get that baby. They don't make them like this anymore.
yeah,
So cheers.
yeah,
About
yeah, man. Cheers. Yeah,
8
it's
a.m.
coffee
over
time.
here.
I I snagged Jeff right at wake up time. I hit him up and it was like, yo, let's hop on. Let's do this.
Yeah, my girlfriend Grace, she's also with Option. She put me in this like makeup like headband and it had like alien eyes coming out like right here. And I fell asleep with the thing on, so the thing like pulled my hair back like Mugatu. And then she's like, "Someone's calling you on Instagram," and I was like, "Oh, today's the day."
Today's the day.
Yeah,
We make it happen today.
but I
Yeah,
ain't
man.
scared.
So actually, that's like the perfect thing I want to talk about. You ain't scared. So you're out. You're free diving. You're
Yeah,
spearfishing. You're surfing. You're doing all this stuff. Life in Hawaii, and you the other day were out there getting followed by a pretty sizable shark.
yeah. Well, like, can
Walk
I
us
back
through.
up? Can I back up a little bit? Just a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
background, like, cause I'm a city boy. I'm from Los Angeles, like right next to Dodger Stadium. Um, Started skateboarding, right? So like back in the day, we didn't have smartphones, so we were just not even the train was working really, like those high tech what metro trains, you know, the gold line and all that. Back then it was just the
Yeah.
red, blue, and green in LA, and so we would take the bus, the train to either downtown LA and go skate around and try to recreate what we saw in the VHS tapes. You know, that was it. We wanted to hit those spots. We wanted to, not get the same tricks, but kind of follow the footsteps of our predecessors. And I went to a middle school where the pros would actually come because there was some 9 stairs, some 10 stairs, and it was just so cool as a kid uh, to interact with them. And the pros really gave back in the skateboarding space before it was an Olympic sport and all this, and before Instagram. So it was very organic, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, fast forward, go to school, graduate school. What am I going to do as an adult now? And yeah, surfing kind of came in at the same time in high school. I was doing water polo, so I ditched the skateboard because it was getting reckless, getting hurt. Started moving more towards the water. So here I am in Hawaii, moved here for, surfing more or less just to do it more. But now I found myself actually surfing less and more like just simply swimming in the ocean and just like meditating on the sand and just getting those morning stretches, listening to the sun. Obviously, if it's raining, you're not going to go to the beach, but diving is like a whole different underworld where things like rain don't even matter, You're listening more to like the swells and the wind and things that have happened. So, yeah, I've been incredibly humbled. It's something I do with grace. and we're learning new things, and that's what it's all about on Hawaii, is whether it's the culture or the language or things within yourself or kind of your own parameters, the ocean, and for that matter, all of the weather here or wherever you are, you know, the Northwest is pretty unruly at times as well. But yeah, to answer your question, circling back, I've never been chased out of the water by a shark before. And this was after I sniped a good sized fish, which we, you know, ended up eating. So brings out all these kind of like primeval, like kind of instincts that get you excited, you know, like some people are very like scared of that. But I mean, if you're an outdoors person, it really opens your eyes to the elements of possibility.
Yep.
But yeah, this was at Turtle Bay
Yep.
Resort, bro. Like freaking the new Ritz-Carlton in the lagoon where people swim, like babies and dogs, they can get in, get out. I mean, you're safe pretty much nowhere if, you know, the waterways are connected. So I'm learning that real quick out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was how many? This was like last week, right? Last few days. It wasn't.
No, yeah,
It wasn't that long.
it's about 10 days ago and it feels like just
Yeah.
yesterday, but bro, I'm getting out of
So
that
walk us
water.
through this real quick.
Yeah, no, well, it's actually, Grace is she's applying for PA school here at Hawaii Pacific University. It's really competitive. I think there's only like 20 spots in
Yeah.
the new program. So, I mean, circling back to study once you're graduated from university, right? I still have yet to know where you graduated from, but we can get into that later. But
UC Berkeley.
all right, I saw a UC credential behind you, and I'm a UC San Diego.
Yeah. Let's
Yes.
go. So is Jeanette. My lady. Yeah, my lady is too.
Oh, I think you had mentioned that, but yeah, I got a lot of love for the UC fam. That's another
Yeah.
topic. But yeah, we're hard pressed to find places to study to, you know,
Mhm.
self-impose higher learning in a traditional sense. I
Yeah.
think that's one thing you're really good at. You find the time to do that. Me, I'm like off in left field, like picking grass and throwing rocks and listening to the wind. No, but yeah, yeah, I think she gave me the benefit of like, okay, we'll go dive after I get a couple hours of studying in. So I'm like twiddling my thumbs while she's studying in like a Starbucks atmosphere. You can go to the Turtle Bay Ritz-Carlton, post up like it's a
Hmm.
cafe, and get like a 5-star experience. So that's what we did. It was really nice and calm on the water, which it's typically not on the North Shore of Hawaii. That's where this hotel
Hmm.
is located. And it looked really elementary, just swim in, swim out. So we get in the water, boom, just loaded with fish. And spearfishing, in particularly, like it's funny that you'd be doing this at a 5-star resort to begin with, but yeah, they have no rules on it in Hawaii. Actually, even if you have a multi-million-dollar property, the ocean is everyone's property. So they cannot prohibit certain activities from going on. So here I am, just with a spear gun, walking by a bunch of tourists. Hey, like, mate,
Yeah.
get in the water, get out, and it's super cool. I think it's similar to jujitsu. You have to kind of like sneak and hide and plan your next attack so you can hide around these boulders. Boom, big fish, like all these waterways. You are just observing what the fish are doing, and it's crazy. If you flinch like this, boom, the fish react. You know, if you stay calm, they come in and they check you out. So like that's been really fun, but at that same time, you don't really know what's going on around you. It might be like kind of brackish, we say,
Uh-huh.
which means like hard to see. And then yeah, I got the one fish. My band broke on my gun, which was honestly a blessing in disguise. And we're coming in, and my mistake was I started cleaning the fish because I've been doing that at home here, and it creates a mess. And like you want to do that stuff at the beach and then give it back to where you found it, right? Like
Mm.
other
Yeah.
things can feed on it. I really like that philosophy, but yeah, sure enough, makes me a target to other predators. And I don't know what kind of shark, but it was a tourist on the beach was able to film it, and it looked like a 4 or 5 foot aggressive tiger, and it's hunting, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
mood.
Yeah, it looked
So
like it was on the prowl for sure. Like it was
yeah.
like, oh, okay, I know where I'm heading.
And so yeah, we just split. I was like, oh, like hell no. Like I'm responsible for this here. And there's no rules and stuff, but I had a bad feeling in my gut and like I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's part of nature, but you are kind of responsible at the same time because you are the bearer of the information, right? But the thing is, there's no ocean safety at a lot of these beaches. Ocean safety is lifeguard at a lot of these
Yeah.
beaches in Hawaii, and for that matter, they're only open from 9 to 5. The lifeguards, and they'll only help you as much as they can, see you or get to you, but. Those guys are just all brothers. They're just like all just hanging out at the beach, fucking
Yeah.
doing push-ups and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're really on your own. And no matter if it's Hawaii or if it's downtown Los Angeles, or I mean, the cops are probably more on it there. But yeah, you just feel like, yeah, I'm human, like that's such a great
Yeah.
feeling.
Man, I think you made a great point that I've been pretty heavy-handed on pursuing more growth in, which is like you are alone. You don't have somebody that's gonna save you. You have to save yourself, and that's
Hmm.
something that, especially like in fatherhood for me, that's where it really got ramped up for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming off of literally, I just flew in this morning. I just finished a 3-day course on like situational awareness, basically defense. It's called Protector Level 2. I took the Level 1 last year. So it's
Heck yeah.
striking, jujitsu, grappling, weapon retention, firearms training, all this stuff. And it's like that whole thing is to just keep other people safe. Like
Yeah,
there's only so many cops and there's response time, and then cops are also, limited in what they could do. And then you're also like, is the cop going to show up and do something like Uvalde where they're like, sitting out, like not going in to help? And, like you
yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So the best way to combat anything like that, in my opinion, is to train yourself, like get yourself trained in whatever arena that looks like for you, right? If you
Yeah,
spend
yeah.
your time in the water, spearfishing, surfing, whatever it is, like get as well trained as you can in whatever environment you tend to be in a lot so that you could be the one that saves yourself or maybe help save
Man,
somebody else.
I've seen different shades of that in different countries, honestly. Like you mentioned, I lived in Tokyo. I lived there during the pandemic for 4 years with Grace. And out there, when someone goes down, dude, people just ignore it. They just like walking by
Yeah.
us. You would imagine in Tokyo, they got like some absurd number. I think it's like 40 mil, right? Population. I could be right. It could be like
Yeah.
400 mil. No, I think it's closer to 40 mil, but take this in perspective, like all of Hawaii, all the islands together, maybe a million, I think.
Yeah.
That's a rough estimate. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's quite correct because I was living in the most populated city in the world, one of them at least, and certainly
Yeah.
more than Los Angeles, and it freaking rattled my brain, dude. Like that, I just spoke of being human, living in Tokyo for me. I mean, some people really like it, but being an outdoor person, like I had nowhere to escape, dude. I was just like freaking a monkey banging my head on the wall, like, and to counter that, I was in the gym every day, dude, like every day, and that's where I really picked up jujitsu as well. And I found this whole other area within the concrete jungle that I can kind of
Yeah.
I could move. I could just be like a gorilla, like, doing those surf
Yep.
movements and then the community was really, really happy that they had like kind of like a surf-minded person in there. And that's what I like about jujitsu is everyone kind of brings a little something to the table. But yeah, circling back to kind of the shades of gray of like helping people or being alone. I think in LA you get the altruistic citizen who will stop the car and kind of like help a person up. But boom, here on Hawaii, it's funny. Like you got 2-lane highways here, and if a car is stuck, like you'll totally get other people pulling over, and then senior citizens directing traffic. None
Yeah.
of it works really that well. But the point is,
But the spirit is there.
yeah, but people are seeing that and stopping and kind of just trying to make it work. However,
Yeah.
it can be. But when it comes to the ocean, hopefully you have a friend who's just nearby. And so that's kind of the one piece of advice, like just in general when you're outdoors, it's just to be with a friend because you don't know what could happen to you, you know.
Yeah, that's
Um,
real. That's
yeah,
very real. That's yeah, for sure. As much as it is fun to adventure solo,
it is. And like I'm an only
it
child, so I got that innate built into me, which makes me good at
yeah.
individual sports, but like I get myself in a lot of trouble, and Grace is quick to put me in my place and be like, "Hey, I'm over here too," you know. So we've been together for
Yeah.
7 years, and she's brought me back down to earth, like you know, like our lovers
Yeah.
do. And life couldn't be
Yeah.
better, you know. We're still alive. What a blessing. That's crazy, you know.
Yeah. That's real. That's
Yeah,
very real. So what so I looked up real quick. Tokyo population 37 million and then total
yeah, that's close.
population of all of Hawaii. Yeah, all of Hawaii is 1.4 million.
So the reason
All
why
the
I know
islands.
those numbers is because, bro, my brain was like, I like it was rewiring, like that song turning Japanese, like that's real, bro. Like, you know, it's a
Yeah.
man, everything is just so convenient there. And it's like, oh, some people say, oh, great, that's awesome. But no, like you lose your survival instinct when like things are just Amazon to you at a click of the button, or you know, you can predict that, oh yeah, I'm gonna get food in 30 minutes at this train station and then
Yeah.
be able to eat it 30 minutes thereafter, whatever. But
Yeah.
um yeah, I was just longing kind of for that, just in a world of like, disinformation or whatever, like your information is correct if you know from point A to point B how that food lived, was produced, and, prepared at the end of the day. And I think as I'm getting older, that's something that I'm certainly taking into, consideration. And then as it pertains to high performance sports, like I feel a huge difference too. Like when you're just eating the natural, there's a place up here at Kualoa Ranch, they do their own grass-fed beef for like
Yeah.
reasonable prices, like just because it's from the source,
Yeah.
and then makes you want to eat it quickly so it doesn't, oxidize or go old,
Mhm.
right? So like waste is a huge thing in our culture that yeah, just doesn't sit well with me, especially I think in Japan to counterimpose, like they're really good about making use of every part of every meal and every piece of trash.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just culture. That's why we love it, right? There's like similarities, there's differences, compare and contrast, as they would say in elementary
Yeah.
school, right? That's when our first critical thinking skills start moving. So
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm
yeah.
with you on that. I was having a conversation yesterday. So I was out in Texas and randomly ran into this guy Sage, who I'll have him on the podcast. Such a fun guy, very well read, intelligent dude, fascinating guy. Met him last year when I did the Protector 1 course, and then we ran into him. My best friend and I took both of these courses together. So we're in Texas. I make a quick pit stop to just right at Whole Foods real quick. And when we're in the parking lot, this dude is like, "Hey," and he like shouts us down, and it was Sage, and we're like, "No way!" Like we don't know anybody out there, right? So the
Yeah,
odds of
yeah,
this are so tiny.
yeah.
But Sage, he's from New Mexico and he's Native American and he's very well connected to the earth. And he was like, "I gotta have you guys over. I have to cook dinner for you guys."
Yeah,
So we had dinner with him, his wife, and their baby yesterday, and it was just like everything was so beautifully curated. And he was like, "This meat was specifically from this producer who
yeah,
grows it like hard, every aspect of it." He was like, he's so big on this. He's like, I know every step of the way from, wherever it was harvested to table. And like you can go out there and harvest it yourself with their guidance and everything like that. So connected. And he's trying to work on something to kind of build this up even more, like buy a few hundred acres in Texas and make this like a thing where people can have like a seminar, like how I just went and did this tactical training. You can go have a weekend where it's like, hey, we're going to teach you all about how to harvest and all this stuff, and you're getting connected and all this. And it's like, there's such a difference
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
flavor and the taste, in the feeling, in the spirit of the food that you eat when you are
The
connected to it. And
energy.
I'm like, I'm so far removed. Yeah. And I'm so far removed from that, man. I'm the guy, like, yeah, Amazon. And let me go order this and everything. So I'm like trying to hit that reset button for myself and eat less processed and eat more, raw, direct from source. And you are one of my inspirations for this too, because I see you on your Instagram, it's like, bam, I'm at the beach, a little underwater shot, whatever. And the next thing is like, here's my catch of the day. And then the next thing is cooking it up in the backyard, sitting down, grounding and all this. I'm like,
Dude,
that's
it's
how it should be.
it's weird, and I don't claim to know anything special. Like again, I'm from Los Angeles, like in the 90s, like in the height of
Yeah.
commercialism, like yeah, I'm still learning and I'm still scared about a bunch of it too, but hey, what was on the menu, that he prepared for you? Sage.
Man, it was he made tacos, but it was like handmade tortillas.
Love
It
that.
was homegrown chiles. It was he made the salsa, radishes. Literally, this dude is masterful in
Yes,
his
yes.
skills in the kitchen. It's
Well,
insane. He lived for some years on a farm in Texas, and he just attributes his skills because he was growing specifically for on that farm. He was growing specifically for like kind of high end chefs,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so he kind of just bridged that gap himself, like totally self trained, but amazing,
Yeah, man,
amazing food. Like,
salsa is just one of those things, It's funny, like the cheapest salsa here, it's called Andes. It's a guy in Kailua who makes it out of his house. It goes for like $10 a little pint, like, and
really,
sorry, Andy, but it's not that great. But the thing is, like, Grace doesn't like spending that much money on stuff, that she can make herself, right? So
yeah,
she got molcajete. It's in the back here, and
uh huh,
she'd be grinding that stuff herself and customizing. You can therefore customize your
yeah,
level of spice in that, So she's throwing in the
right,
habanero, it's like
yeah,
spicy as can be, but we like that, and that's just it, right? Like you make what's available to you, and I guess there's not salsa on the island here because I think you can only grow like Hawaiian chili pepper here. And then
mm. Oh yeah,
to use another example, like tomatoes don't grow very well here either. We tried to grow tomatoes as simple as you think a summer tropical fruit like that would go. It what goes here? It's more kind of like the Polynesian tree fruits,
yeah,
which all
yeah,
have
yeah,
their own freaking name. But like it's crazy, like because you once you're here long enough, you notice that a lot of Tahitians be visiting Hawaii, Oahu specifically, and then when they get to the countryside, let's say the North Shore, we volunteer at this. Well, Grace more volunteers regularly at a farm up in Pupukea on the North Shore, up from Sharks Cove, and the farmer there was one of the first guys to start the food co-op, kind of like farmers market vibe there. So he's just
yeah,
this encyclopedia of knowledge. But basically, he has all these Polynesian fruit trees, none of which are native to Hawaii. I learned like they were just all brought on canoes, like back in the day, and then planted, and then more recently European settlers thought that, oh, like sugarcane could be grown here. Nope. So that failed. And so
yeah,
really, I've just time and time again just seen nature have the last
yeah.
say here, like um and it's pretty crazy how resilient it is. So
That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
true, man.
But no
That's so true. I
salsa,
was chatting.
it's a
What's that?
heartbreaker. I will go to California just for salsa. Like where do I go? Anywhere in El Sereno or like, you know,
Yeah.
not so much Highland Park anymore, but yeah, that used to be my neighborhood. Like I was talking to one lady I met from back home, and I was like, yeah, Highland Park, that's where I got my first 40 Old English back in the day. Like we didn't have fake IDs, man.
Oh,
We were
oh yeah.
knuckleheads in LA, dude. But But yeah, it wasn't until like water polo and all that and water sports that I was like, oh, I need to start thinking about like health and performance and
Yeah.
not be eating pizza, and things like that. But yeah, it's worked well so far. Pretty, feeling
So
pretty good.
let me ask you something, like a
Sure.
straight up point blank question.
Uh-huh.
What drives you? Like what you were just surfing with Kelly Slater recently.
Yeah.
You're you are incredible on the board. I've watched clip after clip after clip, and I'm like, man, this is
Nah.
crazy. You've been featured in magazines, no?
One German one. I don't know, like a couple other Australians things. But it's funny because like surfing is like modeling in a lot of ways. And we can get into that
Mm,
a little bit later, but to answer your question, it's just the weather. Like, oh, it's still kind of humid. I don't want to wear a shirt right now, or like
yeah,
kind of cloudy. We just had a swell pass by, so it's like the last little leftovers of it. There's no real rush to get to the beach, but what's nice is you can be there at any point in the day, just 30 minutes away.
yeah.
And that's something that, depending on how Grace feels, like we're really trying to get her, progressing in a safe manner because yeah, and I have different philosophies on surfing too, but really it's simple. It's just the sun and the weather.
Mhm.
And did you get a good night's sleep the night before? If not, maybe you need to sleep a little bit longer. Maybe you need to just do laundry today. But it's really kind of listening to your body. And I'm able to do that now because long story short, I just got laid off from the whole liberated brands, Volcom, Billabong, Quicksilver going out of business thing that was announced at the beginning of the year. That just ended. $400,000 in sale for our Volcom store as of the end of April. So I'm just chilling, dude. I'm like, I have all this like creativity stirring up in my
Uh-huh.
brain now too, and that's where really you came in because like I don't know, I've been kind of enjoying your different forms of media. It's like you had mentioned that we worked together, but that was like last year, and then the first time was like 4 years ago. But
Yeah.
somehow I see Anthony, like he's just he's coming at me with like all this good message, and then I'll be in Singapore and my boy's killing it. LAX too. If you're ever in LAX, it's probably I don't know, it's probably been the 1 year usage already, but
They
yeah,
gotta re
you're
up. They gotta re
your
up.
whole you are both, bro. You're right there, and I was like, yes, I love when I see my friends still killing it, no matter what the age, no matter where you are in the world. You had a
Yeah.
baby, maybe you didn't. You're still pushing forward, and that is why modeling is so cool because there's such like preordained like um kind of box where like, oh, you can only model if you're like young and fit and good looking, but no. And I think that's where your charisma talk comes in on curiosity. It
Mm,
was really awesome for you to really just dissect that because at that point in time, I was really observing different managers managing style
mhm.
amidst like this whole liquidation process. And when things are routine and regimented, yeah, like really poor managers can be like, do this, do that,
Yeah.
like whatever. But what I really saw that was missing was encouragement and positive feedback and compliments. And that's where your piece on like warmth really comes in. And for me, I digested that as like, oh, that's aloha, that's love, that's respect. That's
100%.
yeah, it's the most simple thing to say something nice to someone, but yeah, we don't do it. I don't
Yep.
I don't really understand that. And here in Hawaii, like I'm not from here, but if you just simply smile at someone, nod your head like they do in Japan, you can even go full 45-degree bow, like you're in.
Mhm.
They're like, good
Yeah.
morning back to you, like, what do you
Yeah.
need? Like, and
Yeah.
I just want to be in these places that are more like that. Parts of Japan outside of Tokyo can be very, local and
Mm,
um like more genuine.
yeah.
But these days it almost seems like you have to go like looking for it, or you have to go to some like ashwagandha retreat in like freaking Tulum, Mexico just to have have something like that. But I will
Uh,
say the Northwest also, the Pacific Northwest treated me well too. Like I'm a
yeah.
nobody on the coast of Oregon, and to just jump in their ocean, and take their waves. It didn't happen without saying hello to a couple people along the way. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I lived for a good number of years where I was like, man, I just want to find my tribe. I want to find the people. I want to find the people that just get it. I want to find these people. I want to find these people. And
Yeah,
then I went a couple years and I never found them.
right.
It was like, I'd meet a cool person here and there, but I never found those people. And then I realized the way you find them is you just be that person.
You
Like
just
be the
do.
thing that you're looking for. You just
Yeah,
do it. And then you're just gonna be riding that wavelength in life that other people like this are just gonna gravitate towards that, right? Because like attracts like in that way to where it's like, man, I want somebody I want to be around people who are protectors of their family,
yeah,
dads they really take on that role of like my role, I want to protect my family and the things that we have and all this stuff. It's like, well, how do I find those people? Well, why don't I just seek it myself and develop that myself? And then maybe I find people along the way. Maybe I don't. But if that's the community I want, then I can build that community internally first because I'm
yep,
with myself 100% of the time. And then if I find some other people, great. But like you could be a tribe of one to start, right? You should lead yourself first, then lead one other, and then you lead a little group, and then so on. And it
yeah, yeah,
emanates
yeah,
out that way.
yeah.
So
That's funny you
yeah, it's
mentioned that because in Tokyo for 4 years, Grace and I had zero friends, like zero get-togethers. Just it was just me and her penny pinching, waiting for the next model job, being on point, and just
yeah,
having each other, which was great. But boom, first month land in Hawaii, and that's just it. We just through surfing on a random day, we see 10 other people who are doing the same activity, and then three of them are studying the same subject as she is, and then two of them are models as well in the local model agency, and then everyone's sharing
mhm,
information. So I think at the end of the day,
yeah,
sharing genuine information for non-malicious intent is kind of how you breed really good relationships. And yeah, from what I hear, dating here is very hard because it's like a small island. But instead of Tindering it up and whatever, I've never really been a fan of that, though I know it's worked for a lot of people. I just, I just feel like if you go out and either hike or whatever it is, like you like to read books or you like to surf like I do, like you're gonna bump into people, and it goes back
yeah,
to Tony Robbins, one of his first talks about just like movement motivates action. That's a
yeah,
big one for me because it's hard to leave the house, honestly, but once you're out of the
yeah,
house, it's like, oh, that's where those survival instincts come in. It's like, oh yeah, like I better not go here, like it's the wrong time of the day, it might be better to go this direction, like. And so, and a lot of that, for example, can just be the gym. You just get in the gym, you start moving, you'll bump into a friend. I
yeah.
love seeing David's workouts. I see he has a Kojo. What's
Kojo?
up, brother? Yeah,
Yeah,
like he has a fitness page now, and it's just him posting up a camera, and he's doing these like freaking gnarly kettlebell workouts, and I love watching his
yeah,
movement because I'm a student of movement, right? But he'll have people in the
yeah,
background I noticed too, like checking him out, and it's
yeah,
yeah, it's that sense of being vulnerable and just yourself, and you're doing what you
mhm,
do, and that's gonna gain traction, I feel like,
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
man. What do you think, for you, what are the things you're pursuing, like, in life? Because you present as a right here, right now is
Mm,
everything, right? Like, you are so present, and
yeah.
you're very grounded and very zen. Even, like, when we had that shoot in LA that we met up recently, and it was like, that
Just
that whole day
goofballing.
was I had so
Yeah, yeah.
that whole day I had a blast hanging with you, and you're just very present. We had a lot of talks about all kinds of stuff, but it was like everything about you your aura is like, I'm here. It's very zen in the present. So I'm curious for you, what are you aiming towards right now, right? Like Grace is going the PA route, she's going in the medical world and all this stuff.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are the things that you're pursuing right now?
So yeah, that's my weakness, like I'm so just like golden retriever, just sniffing the grass like that. I don't really have goals, for me. If I can live another year, another month, another day, I'm winning, like what a blessing, the world is crazy right
Yeah.
now and we don't know what's gonna happen. But all we have
Mhm.
is today, and
Yeah.
but being, I'm 37 years old right now. I'm looking at 40 straight on right now. And how do I view my 40-year-old self doing, or who do I envision myself to be? And I'd like to get back into teaching. I taught English in Japan as a civil servant through the JET program. It's one of the top language teaching exchange programs out there, or the oldest, I'll say. It's a little outdated, honestly, but yeah, I taught like 1,000 kids in rural Japan, just like what up, just little things to get them going like that, and it
Yeah.
ended with just get out there and travel. I'm
Mhm.
real fortunate to have had traveled as much as I have accomplished so far through the vehicle of surfing. Again, trying to recreate those VHS moments, because there's
Yeah.
not even surf movies anymore. It's all just YouTube shorts and little Instagram clips, and the art of filmmaking, which I think you value as well. Just us
Oh
being
yeah.
in this production industry, it's all about storytelling, and it's like there's so many cool ways you can depict that, um,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and so yeah, I mean, short term, I'd like to try out for the lifeguards uh, this winter, I believe. They have like an
Hmm.
annual tryout, so I just ran a half marathon for the first time. That was kind of like a little bit of an amphibious challenge for me, and running's not real great on the joints either, but they do
Yeah.
require running as part of the tryout. And yeah, I just want to help
Yeah.
people because I'm at the beach anyways. I see people struggling, and like I have actually jumped in and freaking saved some people from, the rip currents and stuff, and drowning in that. But then also like part of me also wants to get back to Japan and also continue teaching phonics to the kids at a young
Yeah.
age, just in little spurts, because
Yeah.
it was I had like a realization at the end of my 1 year tenure that it wasn't so much the textbook we should have been teaching the kids for the standardized test.
Yeah.
It was more the speaking, like the sounds of the letters, not the
Yes.
names of the letters, right?
Yes.
Because those sounds change across different cultures too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
For
there's a
sure.
whole opportunity there too. So yeah, just giving back. I think I've been so like self-absorbed in my 20s and early 30s that I feel like, okay, I've had enough of this, like it's all about my girl
Yeah.
right now, but like how can we, touch other people? And during my time in Japan, they're ready. They're waiting for that one Anthony who's on the other side of the world that they can draw inspiration from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's dude. If I were a little kid and I had you as my teacher, I'd be so hyped. I'd be so hyped. Like, dude, this guy, he shreds on the surfboard, snowboarding, he kills it. He's so laid back. Like, that would be awesome. And I think,
Well,
you know, you carry, I don't want to be like, oh, I understand aloha, like at its depth. But I just feel like you do carry aloha with you in a way that the world needs, like that. If there's
thank you.
anything, I have feelings about Hawaii. I was born in Hawaii. And I have feelings about Hawaii and about, the history of it and the population change of Hawaii. And I have all these feelings about it, which we won't get into right now. But what I will say is, I feel like the most useful export from Hawaii should be aloha, not people there trying to take sand from the beaches and
Yeah, yeah,
stones
yeah.
and rock and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, 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 no. take pictures and leave everything here, but you need to understand, like, take this from the culture because it helps everybody. You share aloha with everybody. And I feel like you taking that out into the world and to the next generation and everything like that would be incredibly helpful, man. I think in this era, the post-COVID era where everybody so much anxiety and everything that people feel and have felt, especially that generation, it's like if you could just understand like it's all good, like you said, live if I live another year, another month, another week, another day, what a blessing. And that's the truth because people die every day from all kinds of different causes. So if you can get a hold of that and just really feel it and be like, when I see somebody else, I'm gonna acknowledge them, right? I'm gonna see that
Yeah,
spirit
yeah.
in them and
It
I'm
it
gonna
really is hard to
breathe
do,
life
you
into
know. Sometimes we're up and down. Sometimes I don't want to say hi to people too. It takes a lot of
them. Of
courage
course.
and vulnerability.
Yeah.
What if this person doesn't say
Yeah.
hi back or whatever? Like, but
Yeah.
yeah, we can try. And certainly like being in a picturesque place kind of brings the best out of everyone. But I also miss the cloudy, kind of cozy mornings of California and kind of the dew on the grass and the moments before soccer practice or whatnot. But I think the key ingredient is
Yep.
you got to get moving. You got to get outside for those things to happen.
Yeah.
Sunsets, rainbows, all those fleeting moments in time that we forget are part of our existing universe. Or like it's
Yeah.
just it all will come organically and naturally if you put yourself out there and get outside for just even a couple moments, and meditation for me, like I don't practice it, but I realize I'm doing it sometimes, like whether I'm waiting for a wave or I'm sitting in the parking lot just like at my destination, sometimes we arrive to these modeling shoots, a little bit early, right? Like
Yeah.
we're just getting ready, that's all meditation is, and
Yeah.
that's because we want to make everyone feel good, right? Like in our workplace, I
Mhm.
think that's something I noticed about you is we not only want to do what's expected at minimum, like be there on time, ready. You don't want someone repeating your name, Anthony. Where is he? Where is he? And then at the same time, keep it jovial, keep it. Hey, you looking good too? I'm looking great. You're looking good, and like I feel
Yeah.
like part of that's being an empath. And having a
Mm.
high level of emotional intelligence as well, through
Yeah.
maybe past struggles or your folks went through a divorce or you lost a loved one. I feel like that also comes with time and struggle, and then
Yeah.
you reach this point in your life where you're just kind of like you're just seeking peace. You don't want to be famous, you don't want to be seen, really. Like I enjoy my privacy a lot, bro. I don't let, and
Yeah.
when I go to Japan, I don't really advertise it, because I don't want mail coming in to my
Yeah.
mental space while I'm trying to do the things that are serving me most in that moment. So like
Yeah.
that was a big one, yeah, like just really not prioritizing Instagram, like letting that fall off a little bit too, because I'm not single anymore. I'm not trying to like flex this and that, but
Yeah.
maybe I should be. I don't know. So it's a weird thing because I know them clients be watching. So it's always
You know
weird when a
what?
client goes like, "Ah, yeah, I see you doing this or that."
Yeah,
Have you though? Have
I
you?
don't I don't think the answer to maybe you should, it depends on what your goal is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
depending
hear
on
you
what
on
your
that.
goal is or your goals are. So one of the best things that I did was move, and this is only a few months in now. I moved to direct my attention to YouTube mostly. And one of the best things about that, I do a weekly vlog. Every single week I have a new vlog, right? And you go to YouTube, Dynamic Daddy, Life with Anthony Thomas. That's my
Yeah,
YouTube
I be
channel.
watching them.
And oh, do you? My
But yeah,
man. I
I,
appreciate it.
I want more of the modeling. Like I want the BTS, bro. Like I want to see. I
Uh-huh.
feel like I'm missing out
The-
on the
I-
shoot.
yeah. It's so there's good BTS stuff, there's modeling stuff up there. It's literally just like what's going on in my week, right? So I share it weekly. And then one of the best things that came from me making that shift was I don't feel that pressure of like, oh, I should share this, oh, I got this going on. It's like, yeah, I'll toss it up whenever, and none of it is current immediate because it's lagging, for a week or whatever that Instagram is like, oh man, I got to do this. Oh, I got to capture this. Oh, I got to capture that. And it's like, man, that it consumes and it consumed me so much where I always felt like, especially the dance of like, well, if I want to be successful modeling and all these agencies or the casting directors are asking like, what's your Instagram following? How many people do you have on social and all that stuff? It's like, maybe I should, but it just never felt right to me. So
Yeah.
when I when I redirected away from Instagram and it's like, I'm gonna just go with YouTube. I still share on Instagram, of course, but it's not the same as when you're like, "Oh, keep up with me in live, and this is where I'm at right now." I don't do that. Especially, I have 2 young kids, and it's like, I don't want people knowing where I'm at, when I'm
Yeah,
there, and all
yeah,
this stuff.
yeah.
So
You gotta
it's like
weave it.
lagging, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
like I'm a big fan of like you want to take a photo of something, yeah, but just save it. Just like save it for when you have some free time and like weave a story into it. Don't, like I feel like too many times
Yeah.
I'll like post something or you ever post something by accident and you're like, "Fuck," but like um but yeah, you just regret it. And then that gives you like a sense of depression, like, oh my gosh, I didn't
Oh
show
yeah.
myself in the light that I'm consistently showing myself in. And like,
Yeah.
not that that matters or anything, but like just taking a little more thought to like, okay, what was that
Yep.
message I'm trying to get through? And like,
Yep.
you just weave them in a short form, like just two little, three little snippets, and then put some, music and celebrate it, like rather than
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
for
just show
sure.
all the good qualities all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, all this digital stuff, it's not going away. So it's like I'm with you on YouTube and kind of
Yep.
wanted to pick your brain about that, maybe in a different discussion, but yeah, I think there's so much to share and learn from, and really that's kind of that aloha we were talking about. And
Mhm.
it's aloha, the word just got so romanticized and so like
Mhm.
commercialized. Because in fact, what I found from living here for a longer period of time than say a tourist is that a lot of these people in the ocean surfing, the best surfers, they're going through some like really hard stuff like drug addiction, alcoholism, broken families. That's why they're in the ocean every day excelling at these water
Mhm.
sports. So it's like the farthest thing from aloha, but yet you get like the hello and goodbye from them because that's their church, that's their sacred area that
Yeah.
we're all sharing together. And it's a finite
Yeah.
resource, so like we have to all get along.
Yeah. Man, you know what? This makes me think of this thought that hit me earlier this week. So
Uh-huh.
I'm launching a newsletter. It's gonna be called the Better Dad Bulletin. And it's
Hmm.
basically just a weekly newsletter that's gonna go out where it's like I have curated things that will help you be a better person for yourself, for your partner, right? Whether you're in a relationship, there's still tons of useful stuff, whether you're a dad or not, for moms, for individuals, but like I'm
Yeah.
targeting dads specifically. So I had this thought this week as I'm developing this, and the first one will go out in a couple weeks. So I'm really in like creator mode and curation and all this stuff. And I was like, man, you know what? There's so many reservations that we develop over time as we grow up. And here I am, father, 2 kids under 4 years old. And I'm like, there is literally no reason why I can't decide to just be some weird, crazy, wacky, goofy dude that's like, oh man, that's totally not normal. Like you, as the agent of your own life, whether you're a parent or not, you can decide on how you want to behave, how you want to act. Do you want to do a lot of little weird, goofy little noises and voices and rah, 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 like whatever you want to do is entirely yours to do. And the same is true when you're talking about people who have experienced hardships and they're out on the water. It's like you can just decide one day. You don't have to have a buildup or a reason or something you can point to be like, this is why I decided or this is why I changed. You can literally just make a decision and say, you know what? I'm going to look everybody in the eye and I'm going to say hi or I'm going to smile at them. If I'm walking past somebody, I'm going to look them in the eye and I'm going to smile. And that's it. From here on out, I'm doing that. You could just decide that. And you
Yeah,
can
the
make the
specifics.
rules of your life this way, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
that looks like, just because you've lived a certain way for however many years or your whole life or whatever, doesn't mean you have to tomorrow. You can decide this is my new normal. I'm going to greet everybody I pass. And the reality is, like you said earlier, some days I really don't feel like it. And it's like, dude, I call those. this was dubbed by Jeanette. My lady was like, "Oh, you're having an introvert day, right?" She's like, the play on the introvert because I'm usually like,
Yeah,
I'm jovial, I'm all this stuff, but some days I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to
yeah, yeah,
anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody, anything like this. And she's like, "Oh, it's an introvert day, right?" I guess that's what she calls it. But some days I have that. But if we collectively just go, "Yo, I'm gonna just take this aloha and share it," on the days when you're like low in that, all it takes is one person that just gives you like a certain laugh or a
yeah, and you're
smile as you
back
walk
up.
by a complete stranger, and you're
Yeah,
like, "Bam, I'm refueled. I'm back in
yeah,
it."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's that feeling of like, especially in the lineup, if there's some like really intimidating guys, and you just doesn't matter who you are. If you just simply nod your head and they give you one back, that's like, yes. Like if I were to do that, I
Yeah.
did that to Kelly Slater actually. He did a air, and I only see him sparingly. Um,
Uh-huh.
California, but like here, the access to pros is so you could be in the lineup with your favorite pros, and why can't you say hi to them? Why can't you be their best
Yeah.
friend, or go as far as ask
Yeah.
them for a autograph or something like that? But like I was like hands in there, yeah, and then like boom, that just he had to respond to me at that point. So we were just like, what poem
Yeah.
you writing? And like meanwhile, we were all just like gazing at his back because his back was just built like a tortoise shell, and it was just like so nuts, dude. He was just like coming at, like just gaining ground in the water like a shark would. And the guy's still like competing against 20-year-olds. He's like, oh, like 52 or something. And to answer your question, that's who I want to be. I want to be 50, still doing 360s, smiling,
Mhm.
friends all around me. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really like a financial goal or a career goal or this or that, but I feel like my life philosophy, excuse me, has to be the most genuine basic thing that I possess as a human for me then to be my
Mhm.
better self in different arenas of my life.
Yeah.
And those things come with time. Like, for example, my family from Japan who never travel, all like eight of them, the kids came to the US for the first time in a while, and some for the first time. And that took time to get them over here. But again, just to show them with that hospitality and take them out of their comfort zone of Tokyo into some like Jurassic Kingdom at Kualoa. They didn't like it at all, but it still gets talked about to this day as like, oh, we saw the real
Yeah.
Hawaii and the mountains, and guess what? Actually, yesterday Jurassic Park was on TV 2 months later, and I really felt Hawaii there. I felt the warm feelings that I had when we visited you, and that meant the world to me. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is you have it within yourself to really, yeah, share warmth to other people. One of my favorite things is
Mhm.
holding a door open for, an older person, or like an elderly
Yeah.
person, because they just hit you with the, oh my gosh, you're so kind. It might be like something. My dad was like that because he was born 1951, and so he filled me with all of that, like we'll just roll up at McDonald's and chat the people up at McDonald's forever. And
Yeah.
so I feel like he was a
Yeah.
big role model to me, my dad, like just a genuine old school, like a beach boy, kind of Santa Monica, California kind of vibe. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's one of the most simple things we can do, like circling back, sorry to go on tangents, but like I was just finishing up a job at the beach the other day, and here comes this family, and the dad goes, Jimmy, shut up, like to his little kid, and the wife was just like, oh, here we go, and like, guys, you spent all this money to get out here, you're in the $1 million view, and you're just still repeating the same pattern. Like, how
Yeah.
do we change that? I don't have the answers, but we could definitely be a little kinder to one another, and I think to ourselves to begin with, no
Yeah.
matter what that might be. Poker with the boys,
Yeah, for sure.
shooting hoops on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, you
No,
do
for
need that
sure, man.
time alone.
Yeah, you need time alone, and I think you have to start with yourself, right? If you don't have control of yourself, if you're just at the whims of whatever setting or environment or what happens in your environment, and that's how you just react to that rather than proactively go, all right,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
go into
it.
this day, I'm gonna be like this, I'm gonna be this individual. You're you're not living. Somebody else is puppeting your life, right?
Yeah,
Whether they're
yeah.
doing it intentionally or not. And to your point, man, where you're like, I don't have financial goals or career goals or whatever, but like you describe feelings and kind of this is how I when I coach people, like when we're in life coaching mode and we're like, yo, how can we level your life up? Like, what are you after? What do you want? What do you want your life to look like? I never go career first,
Hmm.
ever.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the reason is this, it's super simple. If you can tell me the lifestyle that you want to live, like what does it look like? You wake up, you live your perfect day or your perfect week. Like, if you can describe that, it doesn't have to be in an immense detail right up front. The more detailed, the better, but you can give time for details. Just roughly describe the lifestyle you want. You'll notice and you'll learn and you'll realize, man, I can actually live that lifestyle with a lot of different paths that can get me there. It's
Or just
not,
with like
it's not,
5,000 a month, like, you got that like financial or like that like monthly kind of minimum you need to like sustain the lifestyle, right? For food and
well, it
for
doesn't even see this is the thing. I don't want to get too deep into the coaching mode here,
sure,
but it
sure,
doesn't even
sure,
have
sure.
to be that, right?
Yeah,
Because let's say you describe a lifestyle that would cost 5,000 a month.
yeah.
Well, what if part of your 5,000 was doing jujitsu? Okay, maybe you can go and offer the gym to clean their mats every day in exchange for free jujitsu. And then it's
Core
like,
power yoga.
okay,
Yeah,
or yeah, exactly. Like you just saved all this stuff and you still have your lifestyle that you want. So it doesn't have to cost that much, right? But
yeah, yeah.
if you start with the career or like, oh, what career do I want? Then you're pigeonholing yourself, man. It's like,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. We don't live for a career. You live for a purpose, for a mission, for a lifestyle, for an experience, a way of living. And there's a lot of different ways that you can get there. If you want to be like, I just want to shop for groceries without having to look at prices. That was one of my goals years ago. I was like, man, I just want to be able to go grocery shop and not
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to be like,
100%.
how much is this? Wait, what are the, that was one of my
Yeah.
goals years ago. And still to this day, I'm like, oh God, it feels so good to just literally like it's not lost on me to how good it feels to be able to just go, cool, I can just grab whatever I want from the grocery store and we're good, right?
Yeah.
That's lifestyle though. There's a lot of ways that you can get to that goal and solve that problem of having to just sit there. There's a lot of ways you can make money or save money or manage money better, whatever it is. So if I start with my profession first, you're pigeonholing yourself to where you're like, this is all I can do, and it's kind of limiting versus like, this is the lifestyle I want. Make that the mountain you want, right? I want to climb this mountain. And it's like, okay, cool. That's the lifestyle you want. Well, let's look at all the different paths that can get you there and see what one seems most appealing. You might start on that path, and then you might get a different vantage point to go, that path over there is the one I want to go on. I didn't even realize that had this, but now I see it. So let me go over there and course correct, right?
And it's
Lifestyle
tough.
first, man. So, like,
Like I don't know, like I always tell Grace, you won't really know what you like what turns you on in this world, like we have an idea, but you certainly know to some degree like what you don't like. So it's about
yeah,
like factoring those dislikes out first. I for me it was like I don't like being stuck in traffic in LA just to go to the beach.
yeah,
On the counter, I don't like being in highly populated Tokyo either, taking the train to the beach
yeah,
either. So that's why I kind of landed in Hawaii. And it hasn't been easy. Like, it's been really, really actually pretty hard aside from how expensive
yeah,
stuff is here. But again, if you like you're going in the ocean all the time, that's free. And then, like you
yeah,
said, I like how you're focused on those little things, like, just to sustain that lifestyle. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to get the top job in Hawaii. Because let me tell you, you're not going to find it in year number one. You got to weed
yeah,
through all the freaking BS that everyone puts up with, and then you'll meet people. Boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, like you got a guest house on $1 million property. I don't. I live in freaking, the humble zone. And again, you learn things like, oh, this is this is where the Airbnbs are. Like this is
Yeah,
kind of where the transient people live, you know, but the affordable living
yeah,
is, you know, and yeah, you start to just find ways that work for you, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, man, and frankly, the lifestyle, like, what I have found anyway, working with people is usually people have an idea of the life that they want, and the cost of that life in their head is so much higher than it actually costs to live that lifestyle.
True. That's very true.
You know, like
Yeah.
for me years ago, to give an example, I wanted to travel the world. Like I was like, man, I hadn't traveled outside the United States. I want to travel around. I want to travel around. I'm like, it's so expensive to do that.
Hmm.
Well, it turns out it's not that expensive if you work for an airline because you get flight benefits, and so you could
That's
travel the world
right.
for
That's right.
very cheap, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's you can get creative with whatever the thing is that you're after. It doesn't have to be as expensive as people think of it, right? Like I remember my first year working for the airline years ago. I calculated, I kept every boarding pass that every trip that I went on, and I was like, I want to just see what is the amount of like the dollar amount of my travel in airline tickets for the year versus what I actually paid, right?
Yeah, yeah,
In the first year, I traveled on over $32,000 of airline tickets. And combined total, it cost me well under 3 grand.
yeah,
Well
yeah,
under 3 grand. And it's like that's the trade-off. So there's creative ways you can get the lifestyle you want. I saw so many different countries. And
yeah.
still to this day, I like to travel, and there's different creative ways you can get about it. But if you get stuck on like, oh, I have to earn this much and all that stuff in order to afford this lifestyle, then you're not going to be creative enough to find and be resourceful to go, wow, there's other ways that I could have that feeling, to live that feeling, right?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I think a third of the people I've met on the island here, they work in some capacity for Hawaiian Airlines, you know.
Oh,
But they're
yeah.
going to, but then yet
Yeah.
they're going to Tokyo every other weekend. It's like, you know, that comes
Yep.
with its own hardships, I imagine, you know, with the time difference and
Yeah.
being away and stuff. But yeah, the determination on this island. You'll see it is like people are willing to really work hard and go through the thick of it just to have a couple hours at the beach. And in that sense,
Yeah.
like I feel like I have found my tribe, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the story's not about me finding the tribe. It's just about simply being healthy and active in whatever medium that you enjoy, you know. I know water's not for
Yeah.
everyone. And a lot of people like the city life too. You know, part of me misses the city as well.
Yeah.
But only you can answer that question, right? Like, not your
Yeah.
parents for you or, you know, kind of other anxieties in the world. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what's coming next just because things are so volatile, you know. I've noticed that
Hmm.
Hawaii is quite transient, like our neighbors are moving. My job is changing. My car battery just died. But the funny thing is I couldn't be happier, you know, because I feel like I know what makes me happy. I know what I value. I'm making use of this time that we can't get back, you know. That's really what it is. And therein lies the term no regrets, I feel like, you know. So
Yeah. I love that, man. All right, I got to catch a flight soon, so let's wrap it up with a like overall announcement to the world to like this is Jeff's message to the world. If you hear nothing else in this podcast, anything like that, from my life experience as Jeff, this is what I believe will be the greatest benefit to you individually and to the world as a whole.
I mean, we hit it. Just say hello to the next stranger, no matter what color skin, age, denomination, where it is, locationally, like could be your neighbor. Just say, hey, you know, like I do it here in the cul-de-sac and now I know
Yeah.
everyone's name. So you don't learn everyone's name without, you know, not saying hello first, you know. And then Grace will laugh
Yeah.
at me sometimes, like, I hear you talking to the neighbor. I was like, isn't that normal? I mean, we live in close proximity to each other, share the same trash
Yeah.
bin, like so. Yeah, it's the hardest thing to do, maybe because it is so personal, but I mean, try that. Just try saying hi to your neighbor. See what you get.
I love it. I love that, man. I seriously, I love it. I mean,
uh,
you know, I don't find it to be as challenging these days as, many years ago. And so maybe that's why I love it so much because it's very uncomfortable for someone
it's
to go out of
uncomfortable,
there.
bro. You know, when you be
Yeah,
at like
but you know
church or
what?
something, you be at church, turn to your neighbor, introduce yourself, and that's like
Yeah,
the weirdest thing.
yeah,
But you guys are sitting next to each other for like the next hour, like some at these seminars. So yeah, to make that
yeah,
a habit,
yeah,
I'm still working on it, but yeah, it
for
takes
sure.
time. Like just also appreciate that maybe you're not ready and you're thinking about it, and just let that time kind of like massage you a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that, man. That's beautiful. Well, how can people best support you? Where can they find you? How can they best support you? Even though I know you want your privacy, so you could also just be like, don't find me.
Yeah, no, just my name, Jeff.Cheney, Cheney on Instagram. I put nothing but positive stuff on there, you know. And then you can see where we're traveling next. I'm using this free time in my unemployment phase of my life to invest more in modeling, and that's always been there for me. Shout out to the Option Agency in Portland. They're one of my best agencies. And yeah, we're gonna go. Grace and I are gonna go through Korea to Bali. Where else? Just yeah, keep moving. Just keep moving, keep learning. You know, and you'll figure it
Yeah,
out. Thank you,
yeah,
Anthony,
I
man. You
love it.
are such good energy, man. I feel like yeah, I'm starting the day off right already. Like just having talked to you. So thank you for your
Oh
aloha,
man,
and can't wait till we work another job, buddy. It's like we haven't skipped a
yeah,
beat.
yeah, for sure, bro. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for sharing the wisdom. And honestly, this was cut a little short. There's some other things I want to dive into with you, so we
Me
might have
too,
to do
me
a
too.
part
I,
two.
I got a whole list we didn't even touch on. That's how we
Yeah,
wrap, you know?
yeah,
Like, I don't know. It just feels like catching up with a good friend whom I barely know. So, yeah, we can get into more of the philosophical, the spiritual a
yes.
little bit later. But yeah, I just want to spread the good
Yeah.
vibes, you know?
Perfect, brother. Perfect, man.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
you.
enjoy the day. Have a
You
powerful
too.
week.
You too. Go
We'll
kill it.
talk soon, man. And
Yes, sir.
much love to everybody. Thanks for listening.